The purpose of this video is to understand how trauma affects the body and the mind. Trauma refers to any threatening or overwhelming experiences that are challenging to integrate or make sense of. After such experiences, we're often left with a diminished sense of safety, both within ourselves and towards other people. While trauma is often associated with accidents or war, the sustained systemic oppression of marginalized groups can also be a source of traumatic stress. For people facing racism, prejudice, and stigmatization in society, this can mean increased experiences of violence, social isolation, and inability to access adequate healthcare services, all of which can meet the criteria for traumatic stress. Trauma can get stuck in the body even years after an event, and the survivors continue to hold that experience in their body. For example, our nervous system can become dysregulated if we're unable to process and integrate the experience, which can result in an array of physical symptoms such as trouble with digestion and chronic pain, but also emotionally, where people feel angry or numb without knowing why. In order to best address traumatic stress as a peer health advocate, it's helpful to understand the basics of the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system controls our bodily processes that happen outside of our awareness. Anything from heart rate, breathing, digestion, blood flow. The fight, flight, freeze response is your body's natural reaction to danger. It's a type of stress response that helps you react to perceived threats. Fight, flight, and freeze are ancient survival strategies that stimulate our autonomic nervous system to respond accordingly. After sustained traumatic stress, you may develop an exaggerated stress response. In this case, your brain reacts to triggers in the environment to prepare for future traumatic situations. The result is an overactive response. One way of understanding this is by using the window of tolerance. The window of tolerance is used to understand and describe normal body and brain reactions, especially after traumatic stress. Essentially, it's used to illustrate a window of tolerance where there's room to flow up and down with emotions experienced by any human being. So, disappointment, anxiety, anger, and our ability to either self soothe or co regulate those emotions. And co regulating just meaning any loving or supportive interaction intended to soothe another person and soothe one another. However, traumatic stress can really shrink our window of tolerance, making it harder to stay within that optimal zone. And it's harder to cope, and we can feel more thrown off balance more easily with just normal stress. Our senses are heightened, and our experiences and reactions are typically intensified. Peer health advocates, though, can help others by helping them learn to identify and label overwhelming emotions as they come up, which can promote more ease throughout our bodies. This is called name it to tame it. When we stop to notice, both within ourselves and with others, this can be a powerful tool because it asks us to focus on what's happening, naming the sensations in the body and where they live, and identifying what you need to feel right again. This is all with the goal of slowly broadening our window of tolerance and increasing the capacity to hold big emotional experiences. An example of what a peer health advocate could say to bring attention to this in a session might be, "It looks like you're feeling overwhelmed. Why don't we take a break?" In the next video, we'll explore more techniques for dealing with symptoms of traumatic stress.